All right. All right, guys, and welcome to one of four sessions for the 4-week money making course. We're going to be going over basically everything after you learn how to tint windows and you do all the trainings, or you go to a training center and now you know and you have a good footing on how to tint windows and how to tint a vehicle. But the next step is to know how to run a business, and all the all the little steps on running a business is a much bigger picture, the other half of how to tint windows. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going basically from the very beginning all the way to the end as much as I can, and I'm going to try to keep everything in chronological order. And if I can't, or if I remember something that I think is more important, I'll jump back to it. But our first session one out of four. Like I said, we're going to be about an hour and a half ish, with typically about 30 minutes of Q&A if there is any here. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So very first thing to do when we're starting a business, and that's what we're essentially doing, is we're starting our own side business or full-time business, whichever you guys prefer. One of the very first things that we're going to be doing is picking a name, a business name, whether it be, mine. I use Empire Auto Tint. And it could be anything. There's a million different names out there, and you can kind of research and Google search a name, different tint names, just to kind of give you some guidance there. But once you pick a name, the next step, once you pick a name, that's not it. You're not done at that point. What you want to do is you want to check the availability for that name. Like, I can't call myself Tint World because clearly there's a franchise already out there called Tint World. So if I start using that name, I could have copyright infringements, trademark infringements, and things of that nature. So you want to check the availability of it. So just do a simple Google search, and I'd say something within your state would be would you'd be safe within that area. But also check if you're going to start like an email. And we're going to get to that also. But if you're going to start an email, you got to make sure that that email is available too. So if you're going to be going to like gmail.com, you're going to have to go to Gmail and double check to see if that name is available. Also, you want to double check to see if the website is available. Let's just say Empire Auto Tint, because I know I can say it, because Empire Auto Tint is a website that I own. I haven't released or released or gone public with my website yet for my auto tinting business, my personal one. But when I typed it in originally, I wanted it to be Empire Tint, because I was like, do I really want to put auto in there and just kind of pigeonhole myself, or could I go flat glass later on? And that was my concern. So when I checked for domain names, I went to Google and checked websites, and Empire Tint was taken. And I think they wanted something crazy like $1,100 for a domain name, which usually is like $6 for like a whole year. So Empire Auto Tint was available, so I went ahead and snatched that up. So if you guys are thinking you're gonna get Empire Auto Tint, you're not. So, but that's another thing. So you have to have the name, it has to be available. You have to be able to get an email until you can get a website, or at least get the domain name for that. So those are just little things that you have to be aware of. And once you can clear that those are all good, and then also you might want to think as well with social media. Are those names available through Twitter, through Facebook, a Facebook group, or a Facebook business page? And all the other social media networks. I don't do a lot. I know I probably should have Twitter and Instagram and whatnot, but I'm really just on Facebook and YouTube, and that's about it. So, but you want to keep in mind and see if those handles or those tags are available for you as well, because you want to kind of keep the same name and brand yourself within that little ecosystem of a name. So that's the very, very first step. Step one is picking a name. Next step, we're going to be talking about business entities and thinking and keeping in mind on what you want to do, where your capital is, and how you want to get started as well. brief disclosure, I am not a professional. I am not a tax consultant. I am not a financial consultant. This is more for a guideline or guidance to push you towards a particular area. If you do have some questions or concerns about your personal situation, then I would suggest to speak with a CPA or another professional as well. I do have to say that for you. But for business entities, you're going to be looking at three main business entities. First one's going to be DBA, or doing business as. Second one is going to be LLC, or limited liability company. And third one, and is not very common, is the S corp, or corporation. So we're going to be discussing in brief those three entities, and discussing what they are and how they're going to benefit you as well. Starting off with a DBA, or doing business as. Let's just say that I wanted to start a business, but I didn't want to start an LLC. Or you have to you can't just say, like, Patrick's Tint, or just to have them pay you to your personal name. People want to, like, trust that, like, they can, like, they swipe a credit card, it says like Empire Auto Tint. It doesn't say like Patrick Boyer. It doesn't look like it's coming straight out of my account or straight into my personal account. You kind of have to keep those separate. You have to keep them separate. It's very important. So a DBA, or doing business as, is a way that you can do business as, like Empire Auto Tint. I'm going to use that as an example just because that's what I know. So as a DBA, doing business as, in Florida, what you have to do, and I believe it's through all the states, but to be able to open a business account, a banking business account, you need to be registered under and it's called a fictitious name registration. So it's like, I think I paid $50, and it was like for 5 years or something like that. So you have to register the fictitious name within the state. And then once that registration is proven, then you can go ahead and give that information to the bank, and they'll be able to open up a bank account with the business name, the DBA name, so Empire Auto Tint. So that if, say, someone wrote a check to Empire Auto Tint, I would be able to get that check, and I would be able to cash it through my bank account. It doesn't have to say Patrick. It doesn't have to say my personal name. So that's a little bit in banking and a DBA. A DBA is still connected to you. All these business entities, you're really thinking about liability, and personal liability versus business liability, or within the business. DBA, doing business as, you are still personally liable for anything that may occur or happen. Say, for example, you're tinting a window and you break a windshield, and you don't think it's your fault and you don't want to pay it, and the person decides to sue you over it. As a DBA, you are personally liable for that, so that if you do end up losing that lawsuit, or you get into any legal altercations with that, your personal assets are at risk, whether it's going to be your cars, your savings, your trust, your house. Anything you personally own is up for grabs in a situation like that. So as a DBA, you have to be very careful. I'm going to open up the door. It gets a little warm in here. As a DBA, you're going to have to be very careful in regards to what you're doing, because you're very vulnerable. You're very vulnerable, just your personal stuff as well, and all your assets. So got to be careful with that. Step number two, or option number two, LLC, limited liability company. Setting up an LLC, what I did, and one of the easiest ways that I think it's done, is you can go through LegalZoom.com. I believe I spent a couple $100, about $200, and you can process an LLC through them. And they get all the paperwork and get the proper forms, and they send it to you and you sign it. It's either a digital signature, or they actually send you the paperwork, and then you send it out to the state, and it's registered. And I think you got to register like once a year or something like that. But LegalZoom is a really, really great resource for not only LLCs, but other, contracts and other things that you may need. So I just use that. Could you use someone else? Most likely you could, but it's a little bit of a research, I guess you could say, because you'd have to find you'd have to find the proper paperwork for your state and for your county and all these little things that like I just don't do. So I'd spend more time researching it than I would if I just like contacted someone at legalzoom.com. So that is my thing right there. But with an LLC or a sole proprietorship, it does give you protection within the business. So, say Empire Auto Tints LLC gets sued. Now, at that point, with the previously with the DBA situation, that you could your personal assets, your house, your life, all your assets could be at risk. With an LLC, it's different because they can only go what's after the business. So let's just say any assets that the business has, like Empire Auto Tint might have, some, I don't know, some savings or whatnot, whatever the business is. They can go after that if they were sued, but they cannot go to after your personal assets. So that's one of the great things about an LLC, is asset security, I guess you could say. And I believe, as a sole proprietorship, this is the business entity that most people will fall under, just because you're going to have one, maybe two people, and even if you open up a shop, you're very unlikely to have more than 10 people, if that, five people maybe. And lastly is the S corp. The S corp, I believe, you can get up to. The S corp, you can get up to, what was it? I believe it was 49 employees. And once you get to 49 employees, I believe then at that point there's like different tax breaks and things of that nature. But most of us are not going to be jumping right off into an S corp, and whatnot. The specifics in regards to details between taxes for an LLC and an S corp, make sure that you talk to a CPA about that specifically for your particular situation. And let me see, registration, LegalZoom, S corps. Okay, last thing here in regards to the business entity, and I'm just gonna brief segue here. Jerry, welcome. What's up? Welcome to
Thanks, up.
welcome. Everyone in the chat, I went ahead and just muted everyone here. That way, if you had a question, you can unmute yourself, stop me. But we are recording this session as well. I just wanted to let you know that I'll probably chop this up a little bit and edit this part out. But I just want to let you know that's the reason for that. If you had a question or concern within the particular area that we're in, go ahead and ask it, and then I can just halt everything, and then we can answer some questions and stuff. But I did have some stuff they're going to be going over, and then we are going to be and then I'll open it up for a little bit of Q&A. I do have some people that unfortunately cannot make it here, so I am deciding to record everything, and everyone will be able to get a link to the recording as well. All right, Jerry. Excellent. Okay, so going back here, the last but not least, in regards to the business entities, one thing that's very, very important is that you have to keep your personal and your business separate. Um, and what I mean is that you have to, whether it's a DBA, an LLC, an S corp, whatever it is, but you have to have different bank accounts, different, for your personal and for your business. You have to treat it separately. And so if you have a business banking account, which I do, let's just say I have a business banking account, I can't like buy myself a pair of shoes and then go to dinner unless it's like an entertainment, like there's an entertainment section that you can use that for. But you're like personal purchases and things like that, you should not be using the business card. You should be using only business purchases. So film, insurance, marketing materials, whatever you guys need. Business stuff, use the business card, and personal stuff, use the personal cards. And it's very important to keep those two separate. Not so much if you're a DBA, but if you're an LLC or an S corp, it's incredibly important. Reason being, there is a term called piercing the corporate veil, which that means is that if they can prove in court that you're intermixing the two, like let's say your business card, you're using it for personal items and different things of that nature, and they're not specifically for the business, then you're meshing the two, and they can prove that that is not a viable business, and which means that they can actually penetrate, which hence piercing the corporate veil, they can actually pass through the LLC, and then at that point go after your personal assets, which is the whole point of the LLC. So that is a very important factor when you're doing business. You guys have to keep it separate. It's another step, whether you're going to be a weekend warrior and only doing this on the weekends, or if you're going to be doing this full time. You guys have to stay legit, just because there's too many little things in the world out there that could, people are sue crazy or whatnot. That you just have to do the right steps. So those are the most important things. So picking a name, we went over that, and then we just went over different business entities. So those are going to be good. Did you guys have any questions concerning any of those at this point? Nope. Nope. Okay, cool. Excellent. Moving along, we are going to be talking about phones. Phones. Some people just use their personal phone and give out their personal phone for their business, and some people get two different phones. If you're questioning it, yes, this is a flip phone. It's a very old school flip phone. Reason why I have a flip phone actually is because it's really hard to text on this, and I don't want to text people. I try not to text people. I try to call them or email them, things of that nature. You don't want to text your customers because sometimes it doesn't seem very professional. But a phone, if your capital does not allow you to like maybe get a phone, and a phone is pretty cheap. You can get a phone. I pay, I think, $25 a month for this phone, unlimited text, unlimited calls. But I know that when this phone rings, it's business. Either someone's calling me for tint or something tint related. I know that for a fact, and I keep it all. And again, I keep it all separate and organized. So I I get a business phone. And you can set that up. Before it was a little bit easier because you can do prepaid minutes and whatnot. I don't believe they do prepaid anymore because I tried to find that and it's just not an option. So you set up, it's like $25 a month. It's super cheap, super cheap. But if you could not afford that and you still can't afford that, then you can use your personal phone. You just got to understand that, like, if you get calls, if you're the type of person that sees a phone number that's not like saved in your phone book, and you're not aware of who this person is, and you don't answer the phone, it could be a problem for you as a business, of course. Or like maybe you dodge collectors, or I don't know. I've heard crazy stories, but if that's your situation and you're gonna miss phone calls because of it, then maybe a phone, buying a phone separately might be the best way to go for you. And I've always found out, I always seem like when you're using your personal phone, it seems a little bit unprofessional versus if you were going to be doing your own side phone. And these numbers can, you can start off as a cell phone number, and these numbers are very easily changed over to a landline if and when you open up your own shop or do your own business, or grow and expand. So that's the phone here. Obviously, you want to be keeping it a local number. Quick story here. I moved from Alabama to Florida about a year and a half ago, and I was setting up this business phone. And when I was setting it up, I still had an Alabama number. And for some reason, the guy at the store set me up with an Alabama number. I'm like, no, no, I live here in Florida. I need a Florida number. I can't have a random out of state number. So I don't know what the guy was thinking, but um, if you're going to get a phone, clearly you want to keep it within the same area code. People like local stuff and local people. So unless you live like in an area where it's like the area code splits, then it is what it is at that point. But try to keep a local number. It's the best way to do it. Next one is, let's talk about emails. To set up an email for free, super easy. You can go to any of the search engines, I believe, either Yahoo or I think some people might have AOL still. I don't know. But most people just go through Gmail. You can go to google.com and then sign up for an email, and your email should probably be, if this is like, again, this is a free option. If you ended up buying your own website or the domain name and building a website, then you'd obviously have an email through that. But if you're looking for a free version, then just go to gmail.com. Like, even that's what I use even for my own stuff, empireautotint@gmail.com. Something simple. And again, going back to checking the availability when you choose a name, check and see if the email is available. So those are all the same. It makes you look a lot more professional. In regards to setting up an email, I hope it's 2018. I hope that you can set up an email, and if you can't, I'm sure there's a YouTube video for that as well. That one is super simple. But you're getting all these different things, the names, the DBAs, the business entities, the phone number, and the emails. These are small little things that you have to do prior to our next step, which would be business cards. um Business cards, there are a number of different ways to go, but you can't get a business card first. You have to get all the previous things that we've discussed before you get a business card. So with a business card, there's a number of different ways you can go. You go to vistaprint.com and custom make them. You can go to Office Depot. The prices do vary. I know that there is an option here. Avery does. These are like some real simple ones here. These are Avery, like white, matte white, and it has like perforated. Like I can get 100 cards out of this. I can edit them any which way I want. You have some software online, and literally I got this at Walmart, and it cost me $4.44, I believe, less than $5, and I got 500 business cards. Real simple, real easy. Only thing is that you do need a printer. If you don't have a printer, you might have to invest in a printer. But I found that this is one of the easiest ways, because I could probably go to like Office Max or vistaprint.com and print 5,000 uh business cards, which is good. But maybe like my logo changes, or maybe I want, for a little bit I'm having like a special, and I want to put like a 10% discount on the other side of the card. Or maybe my email changes and I go from email to my personal website. Or maybe I build a Facebook group and I'm going to put that information in there. Doing something as simple like this, it's real easy to change all the information. So that is the way I would go. If you guys want to go a different route, just going to give you the options that you have available. Next one here, let's talk about Facebook pages, Facebook business pages, to be more specific. We are kind of running through this stuff too. I might have to go back into detail on some of these other things. Facebook business page. Everyone has a Facebook, pretty much. I'm pretty sure everyone. My grandmother has a Facebook, so if my grandma has a Facebook, I'm pretty sure everyone has Facebook. But when we're going into a business page here, let me see if I can pull up my business page here. Empire Auto Tint. Okay, let's go up here. Let's go to show screen. Boom. Okay, so here is my page for Empire Auto Tint. So this is just a standard business page, but what I do is I use this as an actual website, because everyone has Facebook, so you can market to Facebook. It's easy for people to find you on Facebook, and this is free versus paying for a website. So it says Empire Auto Tint. This is my cover. This is a little profile picture, but it has all kinds of different information. I have a services section where it can literally go over the different services that I offer, how much it is, how long it takes. So if people had questions in regards to what you offer and how much your price range is, this is something that is very easy. Also, you have options for reviews that people can sit and review your business page. I believe you can set up a store. I haven't done that yet. I'm not going to do that now because I don't need a store. But also, this is a really great one that you can share your different photos of different jobs that you've done, just so you can build up a little bit of a resume, so that people can see, different trucks, different samples. Like, I think here's an example of my price board, so they can kind of see what prices I'm running. And like, maybe they have high end cars. Here's a Maserati I did. Here's an Ace. Some sort of Audi A7, I think it is. There's a Rolls Royce. So like you can kind of showcase the different things that you do, and what you've done to kind of make people feel comfortable that you are a professional. Also, this does have uh, information, so that they'll be able to contact you. And we're talking about this uh, in a little bit as well. Moving back here. Hope you guys can still see me. I think I'm off the page here. Okay, so So yeah, so as a bit when for Facebook business page, this could be a great option versus getting an actual website. Just because a lot of I don't know a lot of people that get their own website unless they're just like they just happen, I don't know, they run a store, they're like just pay for it and it's super easy. I guess it's another way for people to contact you, but I know a lot of people that just really just go off a Facebook business page, their personal page and things of that nature, just because also because it's free and everyone's on Facebook. But let's see here. It can showcase your location, your hours, your services. Um, and like I said, it could just stand as a business page until a website, until you can get a website if you ever want to get a website. Next one here is Google My Business. Google My Business is definitely an important thing. Um, for you guys that don't know what Google My Business is, it's how you set up your business online so that people when they Google like window tinting in their area, like your name is going to pop up. And let me see if I can switch over here. I'll type up something here. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you guys. Oh, here we go. Okay, so and the reason why we're talking, this is Google My Business here, and all you'd have to do at this point is you'd either hit start now, or sign in if you've already been set up. But it's super easy. I mean, all you really have to do, and I think they're going to go through it here. Um, you just follow it's very simple. Follow the instructions. It's really really simple. But you do this after you get an email, of course, because you're going to need an email to send it to, and keep your emails situated and separated so that you stay organized. But what they'll do is most likely is you'll go through the process, and it'll give you like samples of what it will look like. It'll give hours. It's basically a Google search. I wonder if I can Google search. At the very end, it's going to have you verify who you are and where you are. It's going to have you put an address in there as well. So when you do go through the verification process, it's either going to send you I gotta look here. uh there we go. Let's put this film back up here. So when they send you through the verification process, they're either going to send you a confirmation text if you have your phone verified with them, or they'll just mail you out a mailer. And with the Google My Business, it'll take about, I think, 5 business days or so. But once you get that, you'll get the mailer in the mail, and it'll have a special code on it. You just open it up, and then when you get there, you just go log back in and just put the code in, and it'll be registered. And once that hits, then you'll actually be live on Google, and people will be able to find you at that point. And again, what I usually do with my Google my with Google My Business, I will link my, because they'll ask you for a website. I link my business page, and then I also link my phone number. But my business page on Facebook is the one I specifically link, because that has all the information and all the pictures and different things of that nature. So you kind of want to have a home base to send people, and that is a really 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 great resource, because I've done other marketing. We'll discuss like some light marketing and other things coming up, but I did what did I do I've been doing like Facebook marketing, but then I also just recently, because I just moved, so I had to update some information. I just recently updated my Google locator. And funny is that like I've gotten like 2 calls off of Google versus the paid advertising that I'm doing through Facebook. So it's kind of interesting. That when people just want it, they just kind of Google it and look and see who's near them and just kind of call and see. So when people look up window tinting and they want to get their cars tinted, they'll just Google it, search it, and then if they look legit, if they have pictures up and they look like a real business, then that's what you are. You're a real business, and that's what they're looking for. And that's how you start making the cheddar. Let's see here. I want to discuss a couple other little things here. Ah, yes. Light marketing. And I kind of wanted to, before we continue on here, did anyone have any questions, concerns, shout outs? No, we're good. Good, good, good. All right. And like I said, guys, we're gonna have this available too, with the link that you're gonna be able to rewatch this if need be. If you missed any bits or you want to rewatch some of the stuff, or for notes in the future. But let's talk about some light marketing here. Uh, I say light marketing is just because I don't want, if you had like some really deep pockets and had some good capital, you can really probably do some damage out there. But I'm trying to find cost effective ways for you guys to be able to market yourselves and market your business so that you can start making money, and then you can use that money for more marketing and things of that nature. But you got to get the ball rolling. Excuse me. So some some ways to do some good business marketing is some simple ways. Obviously you need business cards, but what some of the simple ways is like local business cards, that you could like local business card drops. So what that is that like a business will be able to, like, you'll see like a little desk and like other businesses, and people just kind of leave a few handful of their business cards right there. um would it be one place be effective? Probably not. But if you had your business cards at like 20 different businesses, 30 different businesses, as many as you can get, to be honest, then you'll definitely start getting some calls in regards to that. Other ways of guerrilla marketing that I've done actually is that I would take my business cards through parking lots, and target obviously cars that don't have tint, and then I'd probably skip the cars that I don't want to do that don't have tint. But yeah, that's a good way to spread the word as well. Whether it be like a local Walmart is really good because the parking lots are usually pretty huge, grocery stores, and things of that nature. That was also a very, very good way for me to always get business. um, One also good way is to make sure that your work is good. If you're tinting cars and you're letting cars go away that just look god awful, there's creases in them or trash in them, or they just don't look good, then people are going to see that, and then they're not going to want to go wherever that guy went. So, so when you're doing good work, more work will follow, and you just have to stay very professional as well. But yeah, you can hand business cards to your clients as well, or past clients, and then just have them and let them know that a lot of your marketing is word of mouth, and that's very, very powerful. And a lot of people say that might be the very best way. A buddy of mine, Robert, he just moved back to a town where he like grew up with, so he like started up doing tint back in his town, and within like a week he's like doing 1 2 cars a day, and like he's busy. And then like you take someone like me who like lives in Florida but just moved here, and I know nobody, so I have no networks, so I have to research and step out, and kind of guerrilla market myself so that people know who I am and find out who I am. So it really is situational as well. So you can also help tell your friends, if your friends and family are local, tell them to kind of help out and spread the word that way also. Um, Local, let's see. Ah, Craigslist. I believe Craigslist all around now. Before, Craigslist used to be free, but now I believe that Craigslist is doing I believe it's like $3. I believe anywhere between $3 and $5, depending on where you live. $3 and $5 per post, which could be a really good way to get business as well. I remember even when Craigslist was free, I'd get ceramic jobs off of Craigslist. I would get all kinds of different things. But now that you're paying, there's going to be less people out there. So what you want to probably focus on when you're doing your Craigslist ads is definitely be very descriptive in specific in the words that you use within your ad, but also pictures, really good pictures, maybe of you, maybe of different cars, maybe of your logo, something, something that pops. That's what you want to see. And you can also like you can search Craigslist for window tinting in your area, kind of see what other people are doing, and see if there's other people that are being, just like saturating the market, and they're just posting every single day, every hour, or what. And lastly here, Facebook ads is has been probably one of the biggest things. um I did a poll because I don't know if you guys know, but some of you guys may know that I run a group called Window Tinting Business. It's a Facebook group, and within the group, and there's other groups out there as well. Believe within the group, I asked like what people are doing for their marketing, whether it be print ads, whether it be radio, TV, online marketing, and I'd probably say 95% of people said Facebook. Facebook and Facebook and Instagram, but they're like, I think they're intertwined now. But a lot of people said Facebook. And Facebook is a really great way because you can scale it. And for I watch a guy named Gary V. Gary V is phenomenal. If you guys don't watch Gary V, check him out, check his stuff out. He's got like daily vlogs and keynote speaks, and he's just really awesome. But Gary V says that Facebook ads are obnoxiously cheap and affordable, and a lot of advertising is going to eventually shift over to social media and digital marketing versus your traditional TV and radio ads. A lot of money is still there, but once it switches over, I think it's like you can get ads up for like $4 a day, $5 a day. But once like the big players get in, like Budweiser and Red Bull and things of that nature, it's gonna like skyrocket apparently. So, and when that day comes, we're gonna have to probably figure out another route versus Facebook if the prices skyrocket. But yeah, you can set up a Facebook ad, and you can promote your Facebook business page, which is why setting up a business page is so important. And we may go into detail in regards how to set it up, just if that might be beneficial. But you can set up, the words you're using, whether you want to do a call to action, whether you want them to call you, whether you want them to check out your Facebook business page, whether you want them to like your business page. A number of different things that you can set up, and plus pictures, and you can run it for a day, you can run it for 5 days, you can run, I think right now I'm doing $5 a day, and then you can cap it at like, I think I capped it for like 150 or something like that, so that it runs for like 30 days. So I'm testing that out right now and seeing how that works. I don't know how great it's going to be, because window tinting window tint is very affected by like everyday things. Like the 4th of July came up, obviously, right? So a lot of people didn't spend a lot of money that week because they spent their money on fireworks and being on the lake or traveling or whatever. Christmas time is another slow time for window tinting and stuff like that. So starting a 30-day ad campaign when 25% of the month is like busy with people doing fireworks and stuff, I don't know if it's the best, but we're gonna see. So, and that's another reason why I'll do a questionnaire, and I'll talk to you guys over through what I do in regards to a questionnaire. And one of the questions is how did you find us? And that's a great way to source and see where your marketing is actually being really effective, and where you can focus more efforts into a particular area so that you can get more results. But Facebook ads are really phenomenal. You can go as low as I think $2 a day, and I think sky's the limit. And you can really dial in whether you want to have a particular age range, maybe you want to have a particular radius is what I'm looking for. I believe I set mine to 7 miles. 7 to 10 miles is usually a good radius, especially for window tinting. Now, if you're going to be doing mobile, you can set that net. You can cast that net a little bit bigger. It's just as far as you're willing to drive if you're going to be doing mobile. But let me see here. How are we doing so far, everyone? Gentlemen, we doing well? I say gentlemen because I don't have any ladies in here. Opa. I think I messed up something. No, I didn't.
Oh, here we go. You're coming off a little bit staticky. The video is still really good.
Okay.
But it's a little, I don't know.
Is the audio staticky or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a little like maybe within the last 3 minutes or something.
The last 3 minutes, it just went off? Let me see.
No, not off. Just
not off.
Started getting staticky.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can. Here, hold on. How is that? Is that any better? I tried
Nah,
turning off my mic, kind of a little bit. Ah, you gotta love online and things of this nature.
I mean, I can still hear you and everything like that. It just, little.
I want to see if I can adjust the audio later on. Thank you for telling me that. Actually, I'm gonna take a brief intermission here. I'm gonna look at something here. And I'm wondering if it's because um I wonder if it's because I'm recording. Sometimes it does that for some reason.
Oh yeah, because it's literally only when you speak.
Hmm. Stream says okay.
Maybe it's just on my end.
I mean, well, I'll double check that, but I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I will say, like I went online and did the Google thing. Like,
Mhm.
so my hit comes up, and they send me a report. Like, I don't know. I think it's once a month, maybe. Maybe it's every week. I can't remember. I think once a month, and it says like how many people clicked on my phone number, how many people clicked on my location, and really, I've gotten people come in and they're like, "You were the first one that popped up when I Googled it, so that's who I called."
Oh,
And I was able to get them in right away when I'm
awesome.
not overly busy. Uh, and like you were just saying with your how wide a range, like really, there's only two shops in my town. There's like the main one that's been here forever, but they have like the car wash, the windshield repair, like it's called the Auto Plaza. So
Okay.
basically anything your car needs, they do.
Oh, this is a
Then
big store.
yeah, it's like a big complex, I guess. And then the other person is, just some random guys who kind of do it on the side. And then I came in, and I would say now I'm probably number two on the list in uh, who knows me. And like
Oh,
you said,
great.
I get tons of just like word of mouth. Like I stayed busy all summer just on word of mouth. Like sometimes I'm scared to go on and do any advertising because I'm like, I do 40 hours a week at my full time job, and then like I've got a wife and a couple kids, and I have to leave time for them too. Otherwise, I'd probably be doing really well. But yeah, the on your business page on Facebook, I noticed you had everything broken up by like SUV, how much it was. I
Oh
guess I
yeah.
haven't figured out how to do that yet. So because I have a page and I have the pictures and my phone number and stuff like that. But when you pulled your page up and you were
I
able to
had price
scroll like through your
breakdowns.
services, I guess maybe that's what I missed on how to
Okay.
do that.
All right. No, definitely, and we definitely discussed that. Let me see here. Um, I had it all organized here. You can only plan so much, right?
Yeah.
Um, what I do in regards to window film, and I think we can get into this a little bit more in depth. But with window film in general, um, your price point usually you want to stay within right around 10% of film cost. So how that works is whatever you pay for a roll, whether it's a 36 or 40-inch roll, whatever you pay for that roll, that's pretty much what you charge for a four-door sedan. Um, and now there is some variances. Like I use, from a lot of the times I use Lumar, and you can't charge a 10% film cost because it ends up being, instead of 180, it's like 260 or something like that. It's insane. You have to take a little bit of a hit in the film cost when you do like Lumar, because of how expensive it is. But here's a good example here. Let's see if I can get my calculator up here. No, that's calendar. Calculator. All right, so let's go here. So let's say your roll of film, let's say you're doing let's say 36 inches by 100 feet, which is a standard roll. So 36 inches. So 36 is 3 feet, and then times 100, right? So you're going to have 300 square feet total within that roll. Let's say you spent $200 on that roll of film, and you have 300 feet within that roll. So your price, what you're paying per square foot is $6.67 a square foot. Roughly, we're just going to round it up to 67. So let's just say you want to do 10% of film cost is 10%. So you're going to take 0.66, and then you're going to divide it by 0.10, and it's going to come out to $6.60. So now if you charge $6.60 per square foot, you're going to have a 10% film cost with a 90% profit margin. I hope that's, am I losing you so far, or are we good so far?
No, I think that, yeah, I've got you.
Okay. All right. So most cars will, and you gotta, most cars you're gonna get anywhere between 30 and 33 square feet between there. 30 to 33 square feet. So if you're doing $6.60 per square foot, and let's say the sedan has 30 square feet, you should be charging about $198 for that four-door sedan. And again, this is very close to the original $200 you spent. So then this way you can determine, like, if you knew that you wanted to do a 10%, and this can be changed to anything. Maybe you want to take a little bit less of, maybe you don't want to charge 198. Maybe your market isn't good for 198. 198 is way too high, and people won't pay that. So then, like, let's say you're doing $1.67, and you want to try 15%. So you take 0.67, which is how much you're paying per square foot, 67 cents, and then you divide it by 0.15. So now that's 15% cost. So now you'd be charging $4.46 per square foot. Now, if you multiply that by 30 square feet, which is what you should be getting out of a sedan, now it turns to 198, turns to 135.
Yeah,
So,
they'd like to see that number.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's only 5%, but it's a drastic difference.
Yeah.
And
So I guess this is actually perfect what you're going into right now, because like you said, I just started doing like a good, better, best program.
Okay.
Where it was dyed, and then carbon ceramic.
Okay.
And right now for like a dyed four-door sedan, I'm doing like $200 for a dyed film, and everybody loves that. That's a great price.
Right.
Then I do and that covers a whole roll of film.
Right.
So then with the carbon, it's kind of the same way. I just upped it like 30% just because I picked a number out of the air, and I was like, I'll take 30% more for a carbon film.
Okay.
Which was like $260, I think.
Okay.
And that covers basically one roll of film. And then it jumps into a carbon, for a four-door, and it covers, the one roll. And then so from the dyed film, I went to a 60% increase for a carbon ceramic, which actually does not cover a full roll of film. So sometimes I think I have a higher profit margin doing a dyed film than when I do a ceramic film, but I also, like, it feels like I'm making more money charging like $320 for a four-door carbon ceramic, but I'm not. Does that make sense?
Your profit margins are smaller with the bigger jobs, but your profit margins are bigger with the smaller jobs. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
It's like confusing to me, like what I should really push, I guess.
Well, you got to,
or maybe I should raise my price. I don't know.
You got to think of a number of different factors too. Window tinting has like stupid good margins. Stupid. I mean, you can go 10 times on what you can have a 10% film cost. Tint tools are cheap. The hardest thing about window tinting and running a tinting business is knowing how to tint windows. That's the hardest part. If you know how to tint windows, or trying to find someone that can tint windows. But everything else, water's cheap, soaps is cheap, tools are cheap, everything's cheap. So you could probably, even if you added a 10% marketing budget, and that you could still probably be profiting 75%, margins. 75% margins is really good. I mean, that means for every quarter that you put in, you're getting 75 cents back out. I mean, that's stupid returns.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. That's a good way to look at it, I guess. 'Cause I'm like,
oh yeah,
but yeah, you're
I
right.
think when I market too, when I think of my pricing, I always try the sweet spot is 20%. So what that means is that I will literally call every shop that I know, or every shop in the area. I'll call them and get a price for the same car. So for a four-door sedan, I'll give them the same car every single time, and I'll get the price points for that for shop 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 12, whatever. So I'll find the average between what the average going rate for like a four-door sedan, and that's called a fair market value. And you're gonna have the highs and then the lows. What I try to do is I try to stay within 20% of the highest of you that you have. Now, if you have 10 points, right, and 4 of them or 8 of them are really close, and one of them is like way, way, way low, and one of them is way, 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 way high, those are the outliers. So you want to kind of take those out. You want to take the bunch closer together, and you want to stay 20%. You want to be at the top 20% of that bunch group. And that's the sweet spot for me. If I go higher than the top 20%, then what happens is that people can find the same quality of work for cheaper. And then if I go too low, then I end up getting garbage cars. You're going to end up getting like 15-year-old cars with R&Rs and stuff like that. And some people love R&Rs. I cannot stand them. I can't stand them. I charge out the nose for R&Rs. Just because I don't want to do it. And that's the trick that I do, is I won't tell people no. I'll just like triple or quadruple the price, and they'll tell me no instead. So I never tell anyone no. That's a good trick too to learn. But yeah, what I would do is oh, my camera's going here. There you go. Try looking up that and try seeing if you can, Lloyd, see if you said you're paying about, what's your good, better, best? What's your price on your good?
200.
200. I mean, your better?
260.
260. Okay, and your best? On a full roll, how much? 320?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Is that what you're charging, or is that what you're paying per roll?
Oh, that's what I'm charging. You want to know what I'm paying?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Nobody's sorry.
See, what is it? I think I pay. I should know this right off the top of my head, but I really don't.
You should know your numbers
that often, unfortunately. So I always buy 40 by 100, and I think it's like 198 for a roll of dyed film.
Okay.
And then for the carbon, I think it's 170. I want to say.
It's cheaper?
Sorry, no, sorry. 270. I think it's like, I would have to look it up, honestly. That's crazy.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, one important thing too is that you have to know your numbers. You have to know how much you're paying per roll. You have to know how much you're paying per square foot. Those are very important numbers.
Whenever I'm going in to buy it, like I know, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But I guess I just don't pay attention enough.
Yeah, you have to know your numbers because you got to know your business. That's very important. Very important.
You have to write that down. Know your numbers. You ever watch the show The Profit?
Oh, Mark Lemonis or something like that. Lemonis.
Yeah,
it's been a minute since I've watched it, but oh my god, I loved watching that show.
Know your numbers.
Jerry, how we doing over there, brother? I see a little head popping. Opa. Do we have a? Oh, I muted myself. Sorry about that.
It's like you lost all audio.
Right? All out. And so today's session, we really kind of went over. Here. There we go. Today's session, we really went over the basics, really, really just starting out and getting out. So next session, like Lloyd, we somewhat covered it here a little bit, but we'll be talking about film acquisition, how to get film, where to get film, what to look for, what kind of film you should probably stock, what shades you should stock, and what services you can offer with that, and also how to set your price points. Well, we'll discuss that probably in our next session next week. Let me think if there's anything else here, because I didn't want to go too far into it without, without overlapping on the stuff that I'm going to do next week and talk about next week. But yeah, definitely. We'll also go over our questionnaire. Let me see here, just some stuff that we'll be talking about in the future. I have a questionnaire here, and I'll be able to send everyone a PPF. This is a questionnaire that I usually have on hand, which I do on a everything's falling off my desk. I have on a clipboard, and I keep this clipboard next to my business phone. And the questionnaire goes over everything. Sorry, I keep bumping the mic. That might be loud for you guys. Apologize. But the questionnaire, I'm going to go over with it, over everything that's on it as well, because then this is going to give you all the information that you need so that you only talk to the client one time and then that's it. Because it don't look any more small time is when you have to call the guy 7 times. Like, what was the year of the car? Oh, it's the truck. Was it a solid back window or a slider? Like all these questions, like I've perfected this. All these questions, like you only need to talk to them once, and then you see them you see them when you do the thing. But besides that, I think Jerry, did you have any other questions? I see you're a man of few words. Man of few words. I think we're muted here, so that's good. That's okay. Let me see here. Let me see if I can unmute you. I keep hitting Jerry's picture. Oh, okay. Sorry, sometimes I'm trying to figure out all these things going on here. Let me see. Did I mute you? How do I unmute you? I don't want to kick anyone out. Let me see here. Just checking in one more thing. Oh, this is a lot easier. All right, I was just going through some control panels, just checking to see. Lloyd, for some reason, I can't unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? I can't hear you. Or maybe. Gotta love there.
Did we get it?
Hold on. There we go. All right, cool. Just getting to know all these things. So yeah, and I do apologize about last week. I know we were supposed to start last week. I didn't know that this whole like link thing like changes every time I opened it up. I opened it up like 4 days prior and I sent that link to everybody. So what I'll probably be doing is that and two also is that next week we won't be doing anything the 15th, because remember I said we're going to do the first 2 weeks of July. I'm going to skip a week in the middle of the month and then the last 2 weeks of July. But since the first week kind of got shuffled around, we're doing now, which is today. We're going to skip next Sunday and we'll be back 2 Sundays from now, and then we're going to go 3 Sundays in a row from then, and then that's where we're gonna keep up and close out, the month with this one. So I do apologize about that. But let me see here. With regards to what we talked about today, the things that we talked about today with picking names, and what do we talk about? Picking names. We talked about business entities, phone numbers, emails, business cards, Facebook pages, Google My Business, a little bit of light marketing. Did you guys have any questions at all in regards to those?
I guess I'm so like keeping money separate. I do actually have I have a bank account for my business, which mine is just Lloyd's Tint Shop LLC. Okay. So I have the LLC.
Nice and simple. I like it.
I was able to get all that stuff. So like a lot of people just pay me in cash.
Okay.
Just because they do that. I think they feel like they need to, but I mean, I accept debit card, I accept check, so all that stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know, like sometimes it's difficult to put that cash into, like the business accounts.
Okay, so I think I kind of know where you're going with that one. So here's the thing. Okay, since I do have a fairly large audience, I cannot guide people into doing anything illegal. I do have to let you know that every dollar you make, even if it's $1, every bit of profit that you make needs to be registered, or the IRS will come and get you. Hypothetically speaking, that if you were getting paid cash, or if hypothetically there was a business that was like accepting cash and keeping it under the table, is that ethical in regards to the IRS? Probably not. Can I advise that? Definitely not. But do people do that? Yes, they do. So all I can tell you in regards to that, Lloyd, you and I can speak more blunt, like one-on-one, like in a private message, but you gotta keep your books straight. You have to keep your books straight. Don't be cooking the books, because that's illegal. So but frankly, I know some people that started off that way, and just because they needed to build capital, and and maybe that they squared up with their CPA at the end and said, "Listen, I made an extra $5,000. Just put it in the books, and that way I pay for it." So some people do what they have to do to get going.
I guess my other thought is, okay, I'm putting in 100%. It's cash, it's checks, it's debit, everything that I get, boom, straight to the account.
Okay.
So can I pay myself out of that? Is that like a thing?
Yeah. Now, again, with the disclaimer, I am not a CPA, and this is just for
Right.
guidance purposes. But yeah, I believe with an LLC, it's either paying yourself in dividends, I believe, and I could be off on this one, or you can pay yourself direct, because you're supposed to pay yourself a reasonable salary for your work. But what I would probably do is I would probably keep a checkbook. I wouldn't go to the ATM and withdraw $1,000. I probably wouldn't do that. But what I would probably do is I would probably get a checkbook, and I would write a check out to yourself. That way you have a paper trail. That way your CPA can follow that. And you just take all this stuff and you just give it to your CPA at the end of the year. And if you don't have a CPA, find one. Owning your own business is really, really awesome, because there's so many things that you can write off. It's stupid. You can write out mileage, percent. If you work in that, Lloyd, you have a little office right there. If you work and you do any business in that office, that's tax deductible right there. Just a number of different things. You'll get a lot of good tax write-offs. But one of the things is that you probably just write a check, so it leaves a paper trail, and then pay yourself that. And as long as you leave enough money in the accounts, so that, and it really just depends, are you ever going to sell off the business? If that's the case, you need to keep as much money in there so the business looks profitable, and it is profitable. If you're never going to sell off the business and it doesn't matter, then you just keep enough so that any of the overhead expenses for the business is okay. So, like, here's a good example. If I was gonna do, like, when I work through Empire Auto Tint, and I get paid, let's just say I get paid $100. I don't do cars for $100, but let's just say I get paid $100, because it's simple numbers. I would probably, and I deposit that $100 into the account. I would probably pay myself. I would leave at least 30 to 40% in there, and if I paid myself, I would only pay myself probably the 50 to 60%, or 60 to 70% would be the actual numbers. That way I always have money for film. I always have money for tools. Anything that I need for the business is never gonna it's never going to be a problem. If you clear out all the money and all of a sudden you need $600 worth of film, now you got a problem. Now you're out of business, and that's a mistake that some people would do. But yeah, just you have a CPA, Lloyd?
No.
No. Okay. That's okay. No, that's totally fine. Here's the thing, and you should definitely get a CPA, because they're worth their weight in gold. They're gonna find every write-off that you can possibly imagine. They'll find it for you. It really is a great thing, and you're writing off a small business, but also obviously you're W-2'd, I'm assuming, because you have a full-time job as well.
Right.
So yeah. So you just give them all that, because in that way they can knock off as much as they can.
Okay.
And they're worth their weight in gold. Trust me. But yeah, and we'll go more in depth into things of that nature. And then also we'll be talking about shop setup, mobile setups, efficiency, making sure your shop is set up efficiently. That way you're working as quickly as possible so you can burn and turn. Yeah. Are you mobile, Lloyd? Or are you full? Are you?
No, I started mobile because my city wouldn't let me do it in my garage.
Okay.
But I just bought a house outside of city limits, so now I can do it in my
Perfect.
garage.
Perfect. Perfect. Make that cheddar, baby. There you go. There you go. So we'll talk all about that. Jerry, do you run your do you have a shop? Do you run your own shop?
Yeah, we have a shop, but I just started tinting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Good. Excellent.
that's
Now,
what
do you
I'm.
own the shop?
No, I don't. My dad does.
Oh, your dad does. Okay. So eventually it could be your shop.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. And so how's your journey been so far? How many years have you been tinting, or how many months?
Well, I mean, we had a tinner here before, and we were tinning for like maybe 8 years,
Okay.
and then we just started tinting ourselves. And
Okay.
I went to that window tint school in Jacksonville.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
That's
John. Big
Yeah,
John?
John. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 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 They're
That's
great
what we
people.
know.
He seems very, very nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How was that? How was your experience there?
It was good. Picked up on things pretty good, but sitting in cars at the shop, it's been a little difficult sometimes. But
Yeah. Okay.
more consistency, it gets easier.
Oh yeah. How many cars would you say could you get a car done in a day? How long does it take you to get a
Yeah,
car
for
done?
sure. I mean, the first time it took me like 6 hours, but now it takes me like 3.
But awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. You'd be surprised, and I say this a lot, and I don't know if you guys follow me online. But there are some people, a lot of people, like it takes like 3 to 4 hours for people to tint cars. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're like hardcore in a high efficiency shop, like I tint cars in about an hour and 15 minutes. But like I'm using every shortcut, like plotters, and I have the right peel boards, and I know just how to tint cars, just so like I can crank out a full car in an hour and 10 minutes, no problem. But I thought like most people were like that. No, they're not. Not at all. So if you're doing it in 3-4 hours, even one of my best friends that I found out, I was like, wait a minute, can you tint fast? He's like, no, it takes me like 3-4 hours. I'm like, oh my God, what?
That's me. Yeah, I've been doing it for 2 years, and I'm like, which I'm kind of a weekend warrior kind of guy, but yeah, like I have a plotter and everything, and it still takes me like 3.5 to 4 hours from the time I pull it in to the time I wipe everything down and
You
send
know
it back
what?
out the door.
Then maybe that's going to be one session too here before we end up like talking about how to like speed up your process.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I was thinking about doing like this course right now, the 4-week money making course is good because I have a studio set up here in my house and whatnot. But the problem is I live in an apartment, so my garage is like 100 yards away. So unless I find a 300-foot Ethernet cable, I can't go live in my garage. So but I'm thinking I might do something at my actual shop as well. Just because at the shop that I work for, because they have internet and no one's there on Sundays, and they have more than enough space, and I could take all the stuff if I really wanted to. But I was thinking about doing like a 102, like for how to tint windows, talking about like pulling for the shrink technique, or how to pull panels, and how to bottom load, or how to reverse roll, or how to Frankenstein, or I mean a number of different tips that you can do too. So y'all keep that in mind. I'll probably, to be honest, since you've been in the first class, I'll probably send you all the links so that you can join up on the second class too. That way it always helps too, makes the class look bigger. So but yeah, we'll talk more about those as well in the future. Let me think here. Jerry, did you have any specific questions right off the bat for me?
No, not right now. Just be
Okay.
good to know like how to set up the shop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we'll talk. I'm trying to start from the very beginning. That's why I started with like names and other things. And maybe you have a shop and that might not be as relevant, but there's other people that I know for a fact like just know how to tint windows and they don't know anything else. So that's why we're starting off here with this session at that one. But we'll, like I said, we'll be talking more and discussing more about shops and questionnaires and maybe how to break off into your own or how to get more business. But we'll also be talking about film. We're going to be going over sales and like maybe like the psychology of good, better, and best, how to upsell. We're going to go over everything. So I think we're going to go ahead. Unless anyone else had any other questions and whatnot, I think we're going to call it for today. Lloyd, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Jerry, how we doing?
I'm good, man.
Good, good. Okay, so I want to remind you and everyone else that's watching as well, for those of you that could not join us today in this session, I'm going to be sending you the links. Just do me a favor, don't share the links with anyone, because the links I'm going to be sending you, they are from unlisted lists of videos, so no one else has access to these videos but you guys. And just a brief reminder as well, next week, the 15th, we will not be doing any session, just as I previously mentioned, because I had something already scheduled for that weekend. And since we didn't go last week, we're going to go 3 weeks after when we come back. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be back, with the exception of Jerry, which I email. Everyone else is on Facebook Messenger. I will message you direct the link probably an hour before we get started, probably around 11 o'clock. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast now. Beep.